Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
We got a lot to talk about, right? We got about 12 minutes that we're going to put towards Evolution, which means we've got to run through it, and then 12 minutes we're going to talk about some matches that are going to be happening this weekend. So, let's just start. Evolution, starting at the top, Trish Stratus and Lita, taking out Mickie James and Alicia Fox. But it was a good match.
Yeah, I was entertained. There was a 4 count at one point.
Might have even been a 5.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good match. And it does seem like Lita and Trish are going to be around for a little while. So I guess that's a plus.
Yeah, that's what I found most interesting. They show up on Raw, and the internet is abuzz with rumors that they may stick around until WrestleMania. Which are interesting. Definitely interesting to see between the two of them. Trish definitely
maybe WrestleMania is when we'll get the Trish versus Alexa match, if she stays healthy.
Good luck with that. Good luck with trying to make sure Alexa stays healthy. Another thing I've seen battered around is supposedly, again, and always, the women's tag belts rumors rolling through still.
Yeah, who knows? I'm just going to be... I'm at the point where it's just... If it happens, it happens. If it's not, not.
Yeah.
And I'll cheer if it happens, because there's a lot of sense that makes for having the titles.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of possible tag teams. I mean, could you imagine a tag team of Tamina and Nia Jax?
That seemed to be where it's going. A lot of the women have paired off. Obviously, Mandy and Sonya have stuck together. The Riot Squad, Bayley, Sasha have paired up. Jax, Tamina's looking like a thing. Lita and Trish, if they stick around. Mickie James and Alexa with the Fox third person in. Iconics, Bella Twins. And that's just like established duos. That's not people you could shove together and still be happy. So yeah, I'm very interested in it. I think it would do wonders, but we'll have to wait and see, and not hang our hopes on it too much. Straight afterwards, the 20-woman Battle Royal for the Women's Championship match. Nia Jax ending up winning by last eliminating Ember Moon.
Correction, it was a number 1 contender match.
Sorry. Yeah,
it wasn't for a title.
Yeah, sorry. I read Wikipedia wrong. I'm blaming that.
Alright. It was a good battle royal, and I'm so glad they got rid of the stupid... It doesn't matter how you go through the ropes. You're eliminated rule.
Yeah, was the Women's Royal Rumble the first time that they ditched that?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was a stupid rule to start with, let's be honest.
It limited the women, because that prevented them from being able to do any type of strategy, like escaping the ring, if you were a heel, like, I don't know, Zelina Vega? Or any kind of saves, which there wasn't actually any in this one.
Yeah.
Which surprised me, but still, it just was stifling their creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And that always brings me back to when Gail Kim quit WWE.
Yeah. Just walked through and left.
Now she rolled out of the ring.
Hey, sorry. Yeah.
And she did it immediately upon the bell ringing, because she was supposed to get eliminated really fast.
Yeah. Well, she got eliminated really quick.
Yeah. It also showed the absurdity of the rules.
Yeah. For what a cluster the Battle Royals usually are, I quite liked this one. I felt like it wasn't too claustrophobic. Everybody got a little bit of time for spots. Obviously, Iconics got a little bit less. Disappointed about that, but that's all I will say.
Well, they had a big moment before the match.
True.
So they were the only ones that got a promo beforehand. So,
yeah, but then they had no match.
But they made themselves a target, so.
And then the final You can say Final Four because Zelina was hiding. But theoretically Final Five with Ember Moon, Asuka, Tamina, and Nia Jax. Bit of an interesting quad. No crazy surprises. But that Final Four to me was quite interesting.
Yeah, I really had no idea who was going to win. Because any one of them could have, and I would probably have loved Zelina winning, to be honest. Because that one was the kind of out there pick. Nobody would have expected it, so that was definitely been all right with me.
Yeah. But obviously Nia Jax picking up the win in the end. Presumably will face the Raw Women's Champion in the future. Rumors already floating about exactly when, where, and everything about that match already, but I believe still pending official announcement, so I'll stay a little coy.
Yeah, because Nia, she was on Raw. Nia was asked about it, and she basically just shrugged it off and said after the Survivor Series match between the two women's champions, that she would be there waiting for him, wherever it was. But
we'll see. Golly gosh, we gotta speed up. Toni Storm, Io Shirai, Mae Young Classic Tournament Final. The Auckland
would have been the match of the night if it wasn't for a certain other match.
It was a damn good match. For 10 minutes, it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good, and I think the right woman won, actually.
Yes. I will point out again, born in Auckland, where I am right now. New Zealand. Don't care that she spent her life in Australia. Born in New Zealand, that's what matters. And look forward to seeing what happens, presumably on NXT UK, with her and the future. Obviously, that women's championship division not yet on television, sorted out just yet. So, trying to stray away from saying things, and gives us a convenient excuse to move on to the Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya, Riot Squad 6-woman tag team match.
It was alright.
It was just another Raw match, though.
Yeah. Which...
we knew that heading into.
Another one. It was alright. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Yeah.
It had a pretty hard pay-per-view to be on as well. You know, for something that was arguably just filler and just another version of the match that we've already seen a couple hundred times. Every match surrounding it was a good one. It was a really good match, this pay-per-view. It's praise I can give to the whole division and the whole pay-per-view. I quite liked this show, if that was not obvious from my comments. NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler regaining her title with some help from some friends.
I was very shocked, because I had Shayna Baszler tapped to go to the main roster. But, well, I guess not. But I guess also this is the beginning of the 4 horsewomen of MMA storyline.
Yeah. Should be an interesting one to see how they fit Ronda into that. I feel like it's the big question mark.
Yeah, well, you also have to wonder how they're going to fit Becky into it. Because like Ronda, she's the only one on the other side that's not the same alignment as her teammates.
Yeah.
Although I think Ronda can be more easily explained, because Ronda just basically does what she wants.
Yeah. Yeah, Ronda's just hanging with her friends and taking their side in the argument, and Becky likes to beat up Charlotte, but didn't beat her up this time, instead teamed with her. We'll see. We'll see how it pulls off. I have faith. We just talked about 2 of them, though. Becky Lynch also retaining her title against Charlotte Flair in the last woman standing match. Almost half an hour. And as you said before, match of the night.
Yeah, definitely match of the night. Match of the year candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. These 2 ladies absolutely just killed it. There was so much emotion in the match. So much... story, and then there were camera issues and stuff. But it was an absolute, because for some reason the camera went to the wrong camera, and they actually were able to see the referee kicking a chair over to Becky.
Yeah, we're ignoring that. The ref was just a bro.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to look at it as like, he was just stepping in. It just happened to move the chair over just far enough that Becky could reach it.
Yeah.
Even though that makes no sense. But,
this pile of chairs is a little dangerous. I got to even it out.
I also have to say that there were some loose definitions with the whole standing rule.
Mm-hmm.
Because the segment where Becky buried Charlotte,
mm-hmm.
Charlotte actually didn't get to her feet.
Yeah,
she was on one foot, but was not standing completely. But they called it off.
Mm.
But that was also a metaphor for how the you can't bury this women's division.
Yeah, there was a lot of imagery. I'm gonna wave off all of the not standing, all of the chair ref hijinks, and purely just look at the match for what it was, which was a damn good match. Not a damn good women's match, just a damn good match. And it, honestly, I don't know if it was meant to, but it was a really good catalyst for the Survivor Series match between the two champions from the two brands. And Survivor Series is obviously already starting to build, but the tweet from Becky and a whole lot of internet stuff already, Becky Ronda's looking pretty darn good of a match to look forward to for Survivor Series.
Yeah, it definitely should be interesting to see how they book those two. But we all know that this is just a stopgap to get us to WrestleMania and the real match that they want.
Yeah.
Which is why Charlotte didn't win the title, by the way.
Fair enough. Yeah, I want to see us get there, and I think we can have fun on the road. There's no need to hurry along. But what I did do is accidentally hurry along and forget that we still have one more match to talk about, and I got ahead of myself. Started talking about Survivor Series. Ronda Rousey defeats Nikki.
It was another good match. Ronda, I think, is getting better and better with every single match that she has on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki showed that she still got some stuff to provide for WWE if they want to use her.
Yeah.
And I absolutely laughed at the double Samoan drop. That was hilarious to me. That was clearly the John Cena moment.
Yeah. It was obviously going to be hard for any match to follow Lynch Charlotte, so it was always going to be rough for them. But I think they did a pretty good job. They were obviously not at that level, but again, it wasn't a bad match in any definition of the word. I can't say anything but praise for the pay-per-view as a whole.
Yeah, it was a damn good pay-per-view, and not just because it was a historic one. It was just a great pay-per-view.
Yeah. I think that's our final words on it. It's just a damn good pay-per-view. Let me quickly skim. Can't see any women's division stuff that we missed, so that means that it is time now for the entrance theme of the week, which is going to be Becky Lynch's theme, for obvious reasons. She won the match of the night. Seems only fair. And you're back with a Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, Grady, Josh. Now it is time. We've talked about Evolution. We're talking about the polar opposite now. We're looking at Crown Jewel. Coming up this weekend, New Zealand time.
It will have already aired by the time this show airs.
Close enough to it, yeah. So ignore all of our preview unless you're listening to it like live on the radio. By the time it comes out on any other platform, yes, it will be time. And you have about 3 hours when you listen to it on the radio. So I hope you're listening live. We can only give our predictions as if the show had already happened. So isn't it great that the Bar retained the SmackDown Tag Team titles?
Yeah. Although it was weird watching the Big Show turn twice during the match.
Yeah, I feel like everybody went into it just expecting, like, hey man, they got the Big Show with them, they got the momentum behind them, and then he just, like, flipped, and everyone was like, what the and then he flips back, and everybody's like, I'm just so utterly confused. But then he just puts...
He just left everybody laying and then just put Cesaro over Kofi.
It was honestly... It was a still pretty good match before all the Big Show stuff happened. Like, I was pretty happy with it. Josh has gone off his rocker, but come on, man. We haven't even talked about the World Cup that happened with all those Americans. Obviously, we had Kurt Angle, Dolph Ziggler, Jeff Hardy, Miz, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley. But I think going into it, we all knew Bobby Lashley was going to be the favorite.
Yeah, it's very possible. It had to be, I think it has to be a heel that wins. So that's what I thought. So I figured it would probably end up being The Miz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as
but
long
we
as...
better hope that nobody on the SmackDown side loses to a Raw person, because they're going to lose their job.
That's pretty much it. Like, I assume this is either going to be a real easy way to shift over someone from the SmackDown brand to the Raw brand, or it was a complete misnomer, misdirection, or it's going to be like when The Undertaker threatened Team SmackDown. We're just going to forget about it. To be fair, they won, so it was fine. But, I don't know, I feel like Bobby might come out on the win here. He's got Seth first up, but without Dean in the World Cup, I don't know if Dean's even flown over there or not. It feels like that's his direction forward. Bobby will move past him. And then if he wins that, he'll be going up against Kurt Angle or Dolph Ziggler. It feels like he could take out both of them. Yeah, I feel like from the Raw side, Bobby's going to be the one making it to the grand final, which would make a really hard opponent if The Miz is coming up the other side.
Yeah. I actually expect it to be Miz versus Kurt Angle in the final.
Okay. Anything is possible, because this is now still slightly canon, but not always canon. I will pick Bobby versus... It's got to be a face, and they got to be heading to Raw afterwards. They won't shift Ray to Raw, will they?
Yeah, if they're going to fire anybody on SmackDown, it'll be Jeff.
I'll go Bobby versus Ray. Just because I feel bad. I feel like they... I don't know. Got's me a hunch. Watch us, like, all be wrong, and it'd be, like, Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. And the Intercontinental title magically becomes on the line. Also note that John Cena no longer in this match is swapped out for Bobby Lashley. John Cena, one of the two guys, refusing to show up for this show.
But for him, it was solely because his agent has told him not to do
it. It sounds fair. And honestly, Baron Corbin's reasoning of Cena didn't qualify, he just said he was in it, is actually a really good reason to swap him out too. So props for being able to keep its storyline. But in terms of the other guy as well that is not going to be there, Daniel Bryan, quickly, I wouldn't even say written out of the storylines. It was like a, let's just make up some stuff. We'll have their title match early, and then Joe will come out, and then Styles will demand a match against Joe, and anything to have a Styles title match that doesn't involve Bryan, pretty much. That's another Styles Joe. They had quite a few awesome matches, but I feel like their feud is over.
Yeah, should have. Yeah, that right there is a mistake. They should not have gone to Joe again. Why not just give Almas a random WWE title match?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the throwaway anyway. Just...
Yeah, there's so many other options. that you could have put in for a one-off match that means nothing and just given them a bit of a boost by having a title match. Joe and Styles is over. And I'm not saying that the match will be bad. I'm sure the match will be fine. It's just that feud is over. It's done. So that's the, I guess, more disappointing aspect, is the fact that is the matchup we get for the WWE Championship. It seems as though they just hit the panic button and Samoa Joe's the first one that came to mind to put into the match. And then there's 2 more matches on the card, but only one of them that we're going to talk about today. The Universal Championship match, singles match, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, with this big Scottish shadow hanging over the match.
Yeah, it's very possible that Drew McIntyre gets added to the match. If he does, I can guarantee you Dolph Ziggler's not winning a match in the World Cup.
Yeah. I feel like Drew is going to be the decision maker in this match. Whether he is inserted, whether he screws over Braun and allows something else to happen, whether he causes the match to go to a no contest, whether he helps Braun and then beats him in the post-match. We got to remember, assuming that this match will go on last, and since we're ignoring a match, it will. The final moments from our last show over here is Braun Strowman with a trophy and a belt. So there'd be some decent mirroring imagery for him to be holding up a different coloured belt. Soon he'll have all the Skittles colours. Yeah, we'll see. If Drew is not involved in this match, I will be shocked.
Yeah, I will be as well. I expected to kick off a feud with the newly crowned Universal Champion, Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I think Braun, the imagery is just too good. I feel like Braun is going to win the Universal title, but Drew is going to be the feud he has, not Brock. Brock, God knows what he has in his future. But I see Braun, Drew being the way forward. Potentially, even if the title isn't there in the feud, I would cry many tears, not a single tear, many tears. But yeah, I'm seeing big things for my boy Drew.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is at the moment after Braun slays the Beast, a Claymore kick.
Yeah.
It's just as soon as he's handed the title.
The Claymore kick looks
seems
awesome.
like that would be something that WWE would book.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see it. I listed a bunch of possibilities that I could see, honestly. For me, the number one certainty is that Drew is getting into this match, and I think that needs to be noted beforehand. In some way. He is touching this match, or the post-match, or something. Yeah, and what that means down the line for Survivor Series, because we know AJ Styles is going to win.
Yeah, I would much rather honestly see AJ versus Braun than AJ versus Lesnar.
I feel
We've
like
already seen Joe versus Braun and Joe versus Lesnar, so
yeah, I'm not a huge fan, obviously, of Lesnar taking the title again. I feel like that'd be a real knee-jerk reaction to all this Reigns stuff that's happened. But moving forward, I don't know, man. He's got to appear at the next pay-per-view, right? Which means it clearly can't be Brock Lesnar. Because that would mean appearing at 2 shows. 1 month. But yeah,
well, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean,
yeah,
the last time they did a Saudi Arabia show, he appeared at 2 shows in 1 month.
It was an exception, not the rule. But I feel like Braun Styles would be pretty cool here. Intercontinental US-wise, obviously at the moment, we got Seth Nakamura. Dean's flying around there. Nakamura's really not doing anything. Becky, Ronda both have obviously the 4 Horsewoman stuff behind them, but they've also got their own feuds behind them at the moment that they got to settle up. And tag team champions, who knows what's going to be the happenings by the time we reach Survivor Series.
Well, I have my own theory for that particular title. Well, what I'd like to see happen, at least.
Well, we got like 1 minute, so what you got?
Well, I'm going to modify an old WCW storyline. And I'm going to have Seth and Dean retain the titles until Survivor Series.
Okay.
And tie it into a classic Survivor Series match.
Okay.
With the captain claiming both titles and being able to pick a new partner.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's see if that happens. I'm not gonna give it a Dolph Ziggler's chance, but in the back of my head, I'm giving it a Dolph Ziggler's chance.
Yeah, it makes too much sense. It's not gonna happen.
And on that note, we hit the time for the show this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Radio, Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, and we'll see you next week with the results from the show this weekend.